where my damn scraper is. So there it is. Try this round 2. For some reason, the YouTube wasn't pushing the other live out, so we'll try it again. Just scraping all this freaking old carpet out so that I can redo the flooring. It's gonna look awesome when it's done. Oh, stupid camera. I need a tripod that works. This tripod just keeps falling over. Let's see. Will it stay? Hopefully it'll stay. All right. So, this is not going to be a fun project. It might be easier than the deck lids were, but who knows? So far, the carpet's coming off pretty okay. But we'll see. All right, come on, YouTube, push out the content. All right. I need to get the camera adjusted better so you guys can see what I'm doing here. I'm scraping all this carpeting out. Kind of a pain in the butt. Actually, not kind of. It's a pain in the butt. All right, YouTube is definitely not pushing out the content. YouTube, you're going to lose me to a different platform if you don't start doing your job. Oh, there's a nice strip coming out. All right. Hopefully, if I can get a bunch of this to just peel out, we'll be good. Be less scraping and chipping. I'm still going to have to scrape off all the old glue and stuff, but if I can get it to pull out in bigger sections, it'll be easier. Hey, Ferg. Hey, you got the repair kit. Awesome. Awesome. Glad to hear. So what we're doing, guys, since the boat is dead, it's time to redo the flooring while we figure out how we're going to get the boat fixed. The clutch dog went out, so it will not fully engage reverse gear. So I've got to basically figure out a way to come up with the money to get the boat to the mechanic so that I can get the clutch dog fixed and get the boat back on the water. Unfortunately, we're coming into that time of year where I need the boat to get out to the damn fish. So, hey, Levi, welcome in. So I figure while the boat's down and out, what I could do is work on the flooring, because it's not like I'm going to be out on the water anytime soon. So might as well work on other stuff, right? So might as well do the floor while the boat's going to be out of commission. The part of the problem I have right now is that there's no mechanics around that I trust to work on my boat. Well, not in San Diego anyway. As many boat mechanics as there are in San Diego, I don't trust any of them. So I'm going to end up having to go out of state to have the stuff done, which actually in the end will be a little cheaper anyway, because, you know, sales tax and all that kind of crap. But I got to trailer the boat out of state, drop it off, and then go back later to pick it up to have it fixed. So kind of in a screwed situation here with it. I replaced the shift cable, thinking that that would solve the issue, and it didn't. So that tells me now 110% the shift dog is bad. So to do the shift dog, you got to tear down the complete lower end of the motor and get into the gearbox. I don't have the skill set to do that on a marine motor. Now, if it was a dirt bike, I'd already be done. But when it comes to outboards, that's a whole different animal. So I'm not even going to attempt it. I'm just going to have to bite the bullet and take it to a marine mechanic. So we'll see what I can find. But so far right now, I mean, it's Sunday. I can't even call around and get an appointment. So, but I'm pretty sure I think I know where I'm going to take it. There's a spot over in Arizona that I'll probably take it over to them and see what they can do. So they'll be cheaper than San Diego anyway. But it's just one little part that's causing all these issues. An $80 part with a $1,500 freaking repair bill because of the maintenance involved and the labor involved to get to it. You got to totally, completely tear down the lower end of the motor and pull all the gears out. So that's going to be a nightmare of a job. The book says it's a 6-hour job. And you need specialty tools that I don't have. So there's no way. I thought about just doing a total complete repower, but then I'm putting 20 grand into a $2,000 boat, and that just ain't worth it. So, I mean, it would be if this is the boat that I wanted to ultimately keep, but I ultimately don't want to keep this boat. So if anybody's in the market to buy a bass boat, this one is for sale. I want something bigger. I need something I can get out in the ocean with. And this just will not get in the ocean. It's great under lakes and rivers and things like that, but not for the ocean. And that's really where I want to be fishing, is in the ocean. So, you know, the freshwater fishing to me is a secondary thing. The only reason you guys don't see me fish in the ocean right now is because I don't have a boat big enough to go out in the ocean. So until I do, I will fish freshwater. But if I can sell this thing and get into a bigger boat, then you guys probably won't see me on freshwater very much. I'll be out in the ocean, you know, fishing for yellowtail and tuna and halibut and sharks and all that fun stuff. So need to upgrade the dang boat. So if anybody wants to buy a boat, hit me up. Let's make a deal. Problem is, to buy the boat I really want, I gotta buy a new truck to pull it. And the boat costs more than the truck. Oh man, this is more work than I figured I was gonna get into today. But it is what it is. Got to get her done at some point, right? It ain't gonna fix this, or it ain't gonna refloor itself. I wish it would. I wish I could just will it into putting itself together, but that ain't gonna happen. So I'll sit here and I'll scrape all this flooring out and get it prepped for the new flooring, which really is going to look awesome when it's done. I'm really happy with the way the bow and the stern came in. Hey, Thunder Dan, welcome in, brother. Good to see you. It's been a while. How you doing? How's everything looking in the Thunderdome? Yep, prepping the boat floor to put some new flooring in. Hey, Rod, welcome in. So this is what we're putting in, guys. This is the new flooring going in the boat. I have to get the old flooring out to put the new flooring in. So, hey, right on, Dan. So, scraping all this old carpet and old glue out of here is going to be a pain in the ass. But it's a fiberglass floor, so I don't have to do as much prep work as I did on the aluminum for the deck lids and stuff. So, this actually, old glue is actually chipping off here pretty nice. What I'll end up doing once I get all the old glue and all the old carpet chipped out is I'll just come hit it real quick with the palm sander and kind of rough that up a little bit so it gives it some nice material to grip to. So I got a long day ahead of me getting all this carpet out here. It's going to take forever. But with the boat being broken at the moment, yeah, it's going to look really good. With the boat being broken at the moment, I might as well get the flooring in, right? I had to pull the seat out anyway to be able to get up there and fix that shifter cable, which was a pain in the ass. I got to the point where I was going to almost have to just replace the entire throttle assembly. So then I have a multi-tool saw. You know what? My multi-tool freaking spun the gear, so it doesn't oscillate or vibrate anymore. And it's actually the original fine tool, the freaking inventors of the multi-tool. So I'm kind of stuck to using a 5-in-1 at the moment. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get all the fiber out that I can, like all the carpet fiber, and then I'll come hit it with a sander and sand most of it off. I could go buy a new freaking multi-tool, but right now, with the shift dog, the clutch dog being bad, I don't want to spend a penny on anything other than that, because I'm looking at $1,500 to get that fixed. So, and we got a few things we have to do to the house. We got to repipe the house. So Mrs. SoCal will not let me spend that $1,500 on the boat when we got to repipe the plumbing in the house. Now the screwed up thing is, per our homeowner's insurance, I'm not allowed to do the plumbing work. Even though I'm a retired plumber, I'm not allowed to do it. Yeah, when it comes to the point where I can sand this stuff, I'm just gonna grab the I got the sander disc on my grinder. I'll just use that. That'll make short work of it. But I got to get all the fiber out first. You can't just sand the carpet fibers without just eating through all the sandpaper. So got to do that first. Got to get the carpet out. So that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to get the carpet out. Actually, I need to take this freaking seat mount out so I can scrape the carpet underneath that. I just don't know where the right screwdriver went. Oh, man, whoever put some of the stuff together in this boat before I bought it was a freaking moron. The guy didn't know how to use tools. Yeah, that's what I was hoping to use, was the fine tool on this. But then yeah, you guys will definitely see pictures and stuff of this when it's done. You know, because I'll be fishing the shit out of this boat. So, well, after I get the clutch dog replaced. But that's going to be easier said than done right now. Clutch dog is going to have to wait for a while. Oh, come on. 10-mile long bolts to hold the seat down. Look at that thing. That's ridiculous. Okay, I put those back in there. I'll put them in a cup holder. I need to go get my little magnetic tray. Well, I can't get my magnetic trays because they got parts for the dirt bike in them right now. Seems like everything happened at once. Yeah, I saw about swapping to the Jetfoot. I actually had looked into the Jetfoot a little while ago, and I'm looking at about $4 grand to swap over. Whereas I have a brand new prop for this boat ready to get put on, which my original goal yesterday was to replace the shift cable and then replace the prop, and the clutch dog is what's bad, so I'm gonna have to pull the prop off anyway to fix that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna have them, when I drop the boat off at the shop, since they already got to pull the old prop, they also got to pull the old water pump. So I'm gonna have the new prop and the new water pump sitting here in the boat, so that when they go to, go in reverse and put everything back together, instead of putting the old water pump in, they put the new one in, and instead of putting on the old prop, they put the new prop. So they should not charge me a penny for doing it that way, because they already got to take them both off anyway. So, part of the reassembly is putting the water pump back in the lower and putting the prop on. There's absolutely no difference in putting the new prop and the old prop. The only difference they'll have is opening a box, rather than picking up the old prop off of one of their workbenches. So we'll have a new prop, we'll have a new water pump, we'll have a new shift dog or clutch dog, and then we should be good to go. Yeah, believe me, I've looked. A lower unit for this boat, a used lower out here, the best price I found was $3,500. Because I was thinking, rather than tearing into it and having to take it to the mechanic and all that, I could just go grab a freaking used lower and throw a whole new lower on here. But $3,500 for a lower. So, and then the Jetfoot and all that was everything I found. I was looking at $4 grand plus. Oh, come on. Really? There it goes. So, it's actually cheaper to just fix like with like. That screwdriver ain't gonna fit. Crap. Well, I got the Johnson 130. And unfortunately, it's not the mainstream 130 they put out that year. They put out a couple different models, and I got the obscure one, which is just my luck. I got the model that we had like 12 of, and then realized that model wasn't the best model. So all right, let's see. I can't see chat. Who's here? I mean, I can kind of see it, but oh, Tommy, welcome in, Tommy. Anthony's here. Welcome in. Yep, that's the model I have. The TLUEB 96. It's the 96. I thought it was a 97. It's a 96. The boat's a 97. The motor's a 96. So it's like they found a freaking overstock motor to put on the boat. Last year's model. All right. Come on, man. This is a pain in the ass getting these things out of here. They're freaking 12 miles long, and they don't want to sit in here, or they don't want to come out of here. And I don't know what they used to put them in, but it's like freaking King Kong put these freaking bolts into the floor. There we go. Today we're stripping the old carpet out of the boat so we can do the flooring. Yesterday we tried to fix the issue with the reverse grinding like it is. I thought it was the cable. Everything originally led to the cable being worn out. Come to find out, it's the actual gear. So the boat's going to be down and out for quite a while. Because I just, I can't swing doing the plumbing in the house and justify fixing the boat at the same time. So, because we got to repipe the house. So, I figure while the boat's down and out for probably the season, and the season's just starting to begin, might as well do the flooring. Well, I know I'm not going to be out on the water. So that's what I'm doing. I'm getting the new flooring put in, and then eventually we'll get the motor fixed and be back out on the water. Now I do have something kind of going through the system right now. The quartz are slower than shit. This issue I'm dealing with the quartz, specifically the labor department, has been in the works for a couple of years. If that all goes through, we're just gonna buy a new boat. It should be going through, but hey, Danny, welcome in. So yeah, if everything works out in my favor with that case, which there's no way it can't, because I have proof of all the labor law violations and all that, but as well as the owner of the company admitting that he violated labor laws. So once that all goes through, we're probably just going to end up buying a new boat, because the preliminary numbers I got at the last hearing were mind-blowing. Gosh dang, man. Even with leverage, these things don't want to budge. And I don't want to get the drill in there, because the drill will just tear up the heads of these screws. All right, if I can get him to start going, I might be all right. I don't think that one's going to go. The guy that owned this boat before me didn't understand how to use tools, And pretty much any nut or bolt or screw that he touched, he stripped. The guy was such a moron that instead of buying a new plug for the boat, he put stucco patch in the plug hole to fill it. It took me longer to get that gunk out of the hole than it did to replace the plug and the housing. But I'm starting to understand why he sold this thing. Oh, man. Come on, get out of there. I got 4 left, and they're just a pain in the ass to get to freaking back out. 2 of them I might not even be able to get out. I might have to cut the bolt heads and do something else to get them out. Yeah, that one for sure I might have to cut the bolt head off. And then what's going to suck is I'm going to have to put something in the bolt holes to mark for the flooring so I know where the holes are to put the freaking seat mounts back. Hand's getting tired. I had my Phillips in here yesterday. I don't know where it went. Hey, Will, welcome in. Yeah, motor's not looking too good. She needs surgery. So we'll see what we can do, but it's gonna be a while. I'm actually considering auctioning off some of my fishing gear to be able to freaking fix the boat. I don't know how that would work though. I don't know how I would do that. Oh, come on. I may have to get the grinder out here and grind some slots into these screw heads to get these screws to actually come out. Maybe I can get the pliers on there. There we go. This one go already? Oh, it's not up far enough. Yeah. How about this one? Son of a bitch, that hurt. Oh, that hurt. You guys see that? I just squeezed my freaking finger between the end of the pliers. My finger slipped, or the pliers slipped, and my finger went right in between the handle when I smashed it. Fuck, twice. All right. Oh, I'm getting frustrated here. These bolts are half stripped, so getting them budge is a pain in the ass. And I think they used Loctite on them, which I don't see why you would Loctite these, but I've seen people do dumber shit than that, so. Now, if I can get the head of the pliers on this, I should be able to use the pliers to spin it free a little bit. All right, there it comes. There we go. All right, so that was loose. So it should start coming with the screwdriver. Hopefully. Nope. Oh, I don't understand that. Wow. Oh well. Just keep going like I was. It's like they Loctited these with red Loctite. Oh, working on the right. Yeah, I bet. Everything tends to freaking rust up and bind up in those freaking conditions like that. Oh man, I'm getting tired already. Then again, it's hot today too. It's probably 80 degrees out here today. And I'm sitting in full sun. I could put the bimini up and give me some shade. There is no reason for these bolts to be this hard to get out. I'm really thinking that they Loctited these. Although the others didn't look like they had Loctite on them. I'm like halfway there. Halfway. Come on. It's like they hit a spot where they just get super freaking tight. Holy cow, man. They'll go a few turns and then they get super tight. It's gonna take me longer to get the freaking seat plate out than it will to freaking do the flooring. All right. Man, there's like nobody here. I guess there must be a whole bunch of other people live right now, huh? Yeah, look at that. Bolt's perfectly fine. There's no Loctite or anything on it. Just super freaking tight. Not a single thread messed up, nothing. to a point where it'll, you know. Oh, come on. This is getting ridiculous over here. Fiberglass resin? For what? Oh no, this would have been done after. There's not, yeah, you would see stuff on the threads. This would have been put on after the carpet. So after all the glass and all that was dry. The only reason I'm taking this off is because it's above the carpet. If there was no carpet under it, I wouldn't have to worry about taking it off to do the floor. I just think they torqued it in there so hard, and they've been in there since 1997. They're in there. They're in there good. All right, we're trying everything we can here. Leverage doesn't even work. Ah, shit, that hurt. I can't even get it to budge with the pliers. That tells me when I put this thing back together, I'm not using all 8 bolts. I'll use 4, because that's all it really needs. Another reason I'm replacing the flooring is because the neighbor's cat got in my boat and pissed all over my boat. So, but what that neighbor doesn't know is their cat's got a freaking boat with its name on it. That cat came in my yard yesterday and attacked my cat in the yard. So I'm gonna dispose of it. Yeah, see, the parts for this thing are not only are they not cheap, but they're not easily accessible. Had I known that originally, how rare parts were for this boat, I would not have bought this motor. I would have I had another boat that I was looking at when I bought this one. And I think I should have bought the other one instead. The other one had already been repowered. It had a 2006 Yamaha. I should have went with my gut and bought the other one. Oh, stupid camera. Come on. This stupid tripod. I don't know who built the tripod, but they don't know physics because the tripod's offset. where it should have a leg in front of the camera to counter the weight. The leg's behind the camera, so it doesn't counter the weight whatsoever. So the tripod wants to fall over because it's so off balance. Oh, come on, you stupid thing. There we go. All right, what can I do to counterbalance that? Yeah, this thing needs... All right. Yep, my grandpa had one of those also. You can't find them nowadays. Ah. If I can get this bolt to start spinning out of there without smashing my fingers every time, we might be all right. God damn, that hurts. Hey, Will with the 10 coming in hot for the kids. We got, today's what, the 21st? So we got 7 days left for the, raise money for the Little League. And then right now, Dog Tags is still leading the pack on the giveaway for the reel, which that's just an extra incentive on the fundraiser for the kids. But right now, Dog Tags is leading the pack at $49.99. So if somebody wants to beat Dog Tags and win that reel, he's at $49.99 right now. So that's what it'll take to beat him. Oh man, I am seriously considering getting the grinder out and just cutting the head of this bolt off. It's just not one to budge, even with the pliers. Yeah, the old school, the old wood handle. I know exactly what you're talking about, Rod. The old wood handle, you smack it and it would freaking spin the head. Hey, oh, what's his face? Welcome in. We're prepping the boat for the flooring since she's going to be down and out for the season with a broken motor. So figured I'm not going to fish her for a few months. Might as well start on the flooring. Get her done while the boat's out of commission. Which, the boat being out of commission is going to kill me because those lake records I've been chasing, they are not on the part of the lake that I'm able to fish from the shore. Yeah, I just always thought they were like, I never knew they had a name. I always thought they were just like a mechanical screwdriver. But they worked awesome. All right, that bolts out like 10 threads. It should come out with a screwdriver. But it doesn't. I don't understand that. Oh, I'm getting frustrated with this stupid thing. I'm ready to just cut that bolt head off and call it good. Whoever worked on this boat before me was a freaking moron. That I can say. some of the stuff this guy did was just, I shouldn't have bought this boat, to be honest. I should have just told the guy, fuck off. What you want for it's way too much. I mean, I did talk him down $3,000, but I think I could have talked him down to $1,000 with the way the condition of the boat. And he didn't know shit about it. He admitted that, and it was obvious. But yeah, I got it spinning now. I just had to get it out with the pliers. Nothing's cross-threaded. There's no Loctite. There's nothing. They're just in there that tight. I don't understand how. Once I get this pulled out, I'll show you guys. It's like, the threads are perfect. Not a single messed up thread. No Loctite, no nothing on there. But, hey, a couple screwdrivers. They were a nightmare to get those out of there. All right. Now I can start scraping more. Hey, Charity, welcome in. All right. Wow, look at that. Nice big chunk came out. So, I don't even see where it's threaded into down there. There's like nothing down there for it to thread into. And there's not like there's a nut in the bottom, because that would have just spin. Are they steel, the bolts? Yeah. Yeah, but they go into plywood. Looks like plywood. Yeah, it's plywood. So what they did is they did a light glass layer over the plywood layer. Because the glue is scraping off there fairly easy. It'll go a lot easier off with a cylinder. But holy crap, man. This is not as much as I thought I was going to get into today. I thought it'd come off easier than this. But I should have known with the way the deck boxes were, that the floor is going to be a pain in the butt. I just didn't expect it to be this much of a pain in the butt. And actually, the carpet itself has come off easier. It was those screws. Getting those screws out of the freaking seat mounts was a bitch. Oh, man. So freaking dirty in here, too. Doesn't matter how clean you keep your carpet in your boat, it's going to be nasty. Oh, look at that. Gosh, dang. I almost got half the cabin done, though. Well, pulled out. Nowhere close to done. The hardest part of the hard part's getting done right now. Oh, it's like it starts going and then it just rips. I just want it to come off in big sheets, but I don't think that's going to happen. It's like some sections just peel right off, and others are stuck. Oh, this is killing my hands, though. Oh, I forgot how much this sucked after doing the deck lids. I remember the deck lids were not fun. Well, they were fun. They just weren't easy. And this is no easier. Actually, it might be a little worse. I called an upholstery shop to see what they wanted to do. You know, what their price was to do this, and they quoted me $4,000, and I was like, nope, it's not worth $4,000 for carpet and a boat. I wouldn't pay $4,000 to carpet my house, let alone my boat, where I know I'm just going to screw up the flooring. Oh, okay, it's time for a small break. All right, let's see. Let me get in here and read chat. Right, exactly. Half the time spent on snagging the lures and hooks and anything else you drop. Some good marine plywood and skateboard grip tape and call it a day. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm already this far in. Hey, Tony, welcome in. Sebastian, welcome in. Boat work today. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're getting the flooring done. Well, we're getting the carpet pulled out so we can prep it for the new flooring. I've said it a dozen times now, but with the motor issue, it doesn't look like we'll have the boat on the lake this summer. So, might as well, since I know the boat's going to be down and out for a while, might as well start the floor so that when I can get the motor fixed, the floor's already done. Plus, you know, when you take the boat into the shop and they see that you've done new flooring and all this new stuff, they kind of treat your boat better. They have a little more respect. They don't look at it as some piece of shit fixer-upper. They look at it as being fixed up. So, Tony, I got the cable. You've never had a Monster drink? They're freaking great. I love them. I got the cable, I got it put in, and it did not fix the problem. So, turns out the clutch dog has gone bad. So it will not shift into reverse without grinding the gears apart. So, to have that fixed is not cheap. So, all that work on that cable, I mean, the cable needed to come out and be replaced anyway, but all that work on the cable did absolutely nothing to fix the problem. So there's a gear, okay, boats don't have a regular transmission like a car. You have forward and a reverse gear. That's it. And there's a linkage. Basically, it's called a clutch dog, between the forward and the reverse gear. So your drive shaft, you have your forward gear sitting here, you have your reverse gear sitting here. And this open space between the two is a clutch dog. And what that clutch dog does is when you engage reverse, it kicks over and pushes the gear over to the reverse. When you kick it into neutral, it brings everything back to center. Then when you go to forward, it kicks everything over into forward. Well, that gear, that clutch dog, has gears on it that, they grab the gears on your boat, so they lock and they spin. Mine on my clutch dog are worn out. So basically what they did is they're like this now. Instead of being, pointed gears, they're all rounded off. So they don't engage, they slip. And they just spin. And what that's doing, every time they spin, they're tearing up that gear even more. So the only replacement, or the only fix, is to replace that clutch dog. But to replace that clutch dog, you got to take the complete gear case apart. And that requires tools and machineries that I don't own. Presses and pullers and pushers and, just all kinds of stuff that I don't have. I also don't have the experience to do it. So it's a pain in the ass job. It's a big job to do that. You got to pull the whole lower end of the motor out, open up the lower end, and tear it all down. So it's a complete tear down of the lower end of the motor. But what I'm going to do is, while they're in there, I have a brand new prop. I also have a new water pump on the way for this boat. So, because I was going to replace the water pump anyway. It's time. That's one of those things that you got to, regular maintenance on anyway. But you have to take the prop off, and you have to take the water pump out to pull the gearbox. So what I'm going to do is, when I take this thing to the mechanic eventually, I will just ask them that when they're putting everything back together, put it back together with the new parts instead of putting the old parts back in. So they shouldn't charge me extra labor for that, because they've already got to pull those parts out and put them back in to do the other job. So, and it might actually cut down their labor by putting brand new parts in that, are in good shape and will go in easy. And then on top of all this, with the boat, my freaking dirt bike, or my street bike, I call it street bike, it's a street legal dirt bike, is down and out at the moment as well, waiting for a carb rebuild kit. I hadn't ridden it for a while, and I let it sit in the garage, and it gummed up the carburetor so bad that I got to rebuild the carburetor in that. That'll take me 30 minutes. I already got the carburetor off, sitting on the bench, waiting for the rebuild kit to show up. So the rebuild kit for that should be here in the next day or two. Oh, man. I got blisters on my hands from this already. I think I'm over it for a few minutes. This is a lot of scraping. The carb's easy. Yeah, the carb's going to be easy to do. That's the dirt bike. I can rip a dirt bike apart and freaking rebuild that thing in 2 hours. The boat is a whole different animal. Yeah, I could have the motor out of the dirt bike and on the bench in 30 minutes. All right. I think it's time to, whoops, stupid camera. hit mute somehow when I was getting out of the boat. All right. Give me a second, guys. I'm going to switch camera holders here. And give me 2 seconds. Alright, sorry guys. Is it just me or does my umbrella and my patio look a little phallic? Alright, let's alright. Hey, what'd that dude say? Staying off the grid's a gay bearded homosexual? Really? You guys don't time out the trolls. No, we don't time the trolls out anymore in here. We eat the fucking trolls alive. Our goal with I hit the wrong button. Our goal nowadays with the trolls is to troll them back to the point where they seek therapy after they're done here. So we're going to put him in timeout. We're going to time him back out for 10 seconds. I mean, I appreciate you guys being on top of it, but yeah, trolls in this channel, they don't have a safe space where they just get timed out anymore. They have a space where they get freaking eaten alive. Oh, good God. Monster, if you're listening, zero sugar Monster. Tastes actually better than the original OG green Monsters. Sponsor me. How badass would that be to have a fishing and hunting sponsorship from Monster? I used to have, when I was racing quads full-time, and I mean full-time, I was racing like every weekend back in my 20s and early 30s. I had Glacio as a sponsor, who is the manufacturer of Vitamin Water and Smart Water. And I'll tell you what, right at first, I thought that would be great, having a water sponsor, especially back then, because I liked the Vitamin Waters, the Triple X. I liked that one. But what I found out was every month they would show up and deliver a pallet of water to my house. It was the Smart Water and the Vitamin Waters. And I could not drink that much Vitamin Water or that much Smart Water. So, you know, the whole thing was, part of it was they wanted me to give those away at the races and basically get the name out, because they were still fairly new at the point. And in my pits, we had 4 giant coolers full of, you know, ice cold water. And there was a note on the top of the coolers, you know, it says, help yourself to a Vitamin Water. Take a flyer. And we had their little flyers of what the Vitamin Water was and how to find them and all that. And it was at the point where for the first few months, you know, I'd leave the races and those coolers would be empty. Then after a while, I'd leave those races and those coolers would still be full. Nobody was wanting to take anymore, because it's one of those things where they're good once in a while, but they're not good every day. And people were getting kind of tired of them. So I ended up dropping the Vitamin Water sponsorship. Well, I didn't drop it. I just didn't renew it. But, you know, if Monster Energy wants to sponsor me, I'm good with that. I'd be great with that. Actually, I should reach out to them. Be like, look, you guys don't have a small YouTube channel that does fishing and hunting content. Why don't you sponsor my channel? I'm trying to get, if you guys notice on my live videos now and some of my shorts, I'm tagging the products that I use. And I'm trying to do that to get some of the products that I use to actually look my way and hopefully give me a channel sponsorship. Which I don't even care if it's just a discount code for their gear. But it'd be nice to be associated with some of those, Berkeley and, Power Pro and all those. It'd be nice to be able to work with those guys. But for a small channel, that ain't gonna happen. Berkeley told me to grow up, and when I grew up and had like 20,000 subscribers, come see him again. But I'm at like 1,600, so it's gonna be a minute before I can go talk to Berkeley again. So guys, I'm thinking about starting a new little series on the channel. I'm thinking about buying a bunch of old school, like as seen on TV's 1980s infomercial fishing lures, like the helicopter lure and the banjo minnow and all those. I'm doing a series on throwing those. Right now I got the old Bill Dance, the dancing eel, that next time I go to the lake, I'm going to throw that and see how that works out. That's one of those 1980s gimmicky crankbaits with a freaking big old long tail on it lure. It's like they took a Senko, cut it down the center, and glued it to the back of a crankbait. So next time I go to the lake, I'm gonna throw that thing and see what happens. But I'm thinking about doing an old school vintage lure series. So we'll see how that goes. Some of the lures are hard to find, and when you do find them, they're expensive. The helicopter lure, I found the 40-piece kit that they used to sell in the infomercial for only $19.95. I found them, they're $75 now. So they definitely went up in value, but we'll see how they work. I never thought any of those gimmicky things would work anyway, so we'll see. We'll see. Oh man. Well, hell, guys. I don't know what YouTube's doing today. They're not pushing out the content. We had a couple people in here at first, and now we're down to 3 people hanging out. I guess the content sitting in the backyard and working on the boat is not as appalling or appealing as when I'm out fishing. The banjo minnows work. They're like $60 now for the banjo minnow kit. 60 freaking bucks, and the only place I could find it was eBay. So if I can find them for less than $60, I'll definitely buy them and use them. Unless somebody's got the banjo minnow or the helicopter lure laying around in an old tackle box somewhere that wants to send me, and I'll use those. I know, I think it might have been Drew, when I was doing the stupid bait thing, tried sending me Vegemite. He wanted me to use Vegemite on a flip-flop to catch a catfish, and it wouldn't clear customs. So if you guys have the banjo minnow or the helicopter lure laying around and you want to send it to me, reach out, and I'll give you the shipping info, and I will do videos using those things. Right, as soon as everybody started talking about all that old stuff, they freaking upcharged like crazy. I couldn't believe that the helicopter lure is $75 now. I don't even pay that for my big swim baits. Now I did buy an 8-inch Huddleston that I paid $45 for. But that's because Huddleston is Huddleston, and if you know anything about Huddleston lures, you know that they are like trying to find a freaking unicorn. They're extremely hard to find nowadays. I don't know what happened with Ken Huddleston, but it seems like his production has slowed to, the speed of molasses in Antarctica. So it's extremely hard to find the Huddlestons nowadays. One of my favorite big bass lures as well. Because the Huddleston, you can fish it a few ways. You can drag it real slow along the bottom, or you could fish it like a swim bait real slow. We're talking like low gear ratio, low speed reel, and a real super slow, almost boring retrieve speed. And those super boring, slow retrieve speeds on those Huddlestons, those tails on those Huddlestons get to flapping at a really, really low speed, and they thump in the water like crazy. They make a lot of commotion, but they are one of the most realistic trout you'll see for a swim bait. And those big bass will absolutely hammer those Huddlestons. One of my favorite lures of all time. Just one of the hardest lures of all time. You know, to find. The Huddleston is so hard to find. The Megabass lures, here's the thing with Megabass, okay? Love them or hate them, I hate them. I hate them because some of them, their lures are great. The Magdraft swim bait is a good swim bait. But they have this ego behind the company to the point where their ego dictates their prices. You know, you shouldn't be paying the prices they're charging for some of these lures. But the 6 and the 8-inch, even the 10-inch Megabass Magdraft, those are phenomenal lures. If you're not fishing for, 10, 12, 15, 18 pound bass, you can buy the 6-inch Megabass Magdraft and do really well. I mean, you can get 20 pound bass on the Magdraft. Granted, you're in a lake that has 20 pound bass, but the price is what gets me. Not to say that the price of the Huddlestons isn't out of line, but Huddlestons are made one at a time. They're handmade, hand painted. They're all a hand pour. So it's not like Ken Huddleston has this massive 100,000 square foot factory just pumping out lures. He's pumping them out one at a time in his garage, basically. Well, he's got a shop, but, he's pumping out one lure at a time in the shop. So the Magdraft 6, 8, and 10-inch will catch you, 1 to 20 pound fish and everything in between. They'll catch you toads, they'll catch you dinks, but they'll catch your wallet as well. Same thing with the Huddleston. The Huddleston will absolutely catch, 1 and 2 pound bass on the little 6-inch Huddlestons. But the 8 and 10-inch Huddlestons, you're going to catch freaking slobs. But you're going to catch a freaking price tag with them as well. I feel like the price tag on the Huddleston is worth it because of what you're getting. You're getting a proven bait that's handmade, small batch. He's not pumping out 1,000 of them a day. He's pumping out 12, 15 a day, tops, And they're great. When you pick up a Huddleston and you feel that lure in your hand, if you were to close your eyes and add a slimy texture to it, you'd think you were handling an actual trout. I mean, they are one of the most realistic big swim baits you can find on the market. But, again, the Huddleston is one of the hardest swim baits to find right now. I found a place up in LA that somehow, some way, they had 4 of them in stock, and I bought them all. I bought them and paid for the shipping, just because those were the only 4 I could find in the country. So, yeah, your water's a lot different. And, it's funny. If you listen to Love 'Em or Hate 'Em, Kevin Van Dam breaks it down perfectly. You can have 2 lakes 3 miles apart, and they're going to be different. Even though your weather pattern is the same, and, your location's pretty much the same, a couple of miles is going to make a huge difference on a lake. It's going to be a complete different ecosystem. The fish are going to act similar, but different in each lake. So what will work out in there in New York won't work here, and vice versa. I see all these guys come to my home lake, and they're throwing lures that they're going to be throwing at, El Capitan and San Vicente and Dixon and Miramar and Murray and, all the bigger lakes out here in San Diego. And they're upset because they're getting skunked. Well, it's a totally different ecosystem in that lake. We don't have the shad. We don't have the crawfish. We don't have all the same bait fish that you have in the other lakes in San Diego. So you're not going to fish it the same. They're not going to react to the same lures, the same colors, the same retrieve styles, anything. Deep weed edges and a lot of smallmouth. Now, if you got those deep weed edges, where you have a hard bottom or a sandy bottom at the edge of the weed edges, gravel bottom, clay bottoms, rock. If you got rock piles next to those freaking weed edges, throw swim baits. Throw big, slow swim baits right past those rock piles. Just kind of creep them along. You want them to imitate a bait fish that's just totally unaware of its environment and, just out there doing its thing with not a care in the world. And I'll tell you what, you start throwing those bigger swim baits in those areas at a very slow retrieve, and you're going to thump some big bass. You're going to get some big bass in those areas. My home lake, shore fishing, I'm not able to hit the areas where we have the weeds and the hard edge and all that. We can't hit those from shore. So until the boat's up and running, I'm stuck to fishing certain types of structure and cover. But hopefully we'll get the boat up and running here pretty soon, and we'll be able to get out and hit some good cover on structure. Now, that's another thing that people seem to confuse quite a bit. Structure and cover are not the same thing. People think of structure as a laydown or a brush pile or whatever. That's cover. Structure is the features of the bottom of that lake. If you have a lake that's got a big sand flat with a hump in the middle of it, that's your structure. If you got a big sand flat with a hole in the middle of it, that's your structure. If you have a drop off or a ledge or a bank that comes out at a 45 and then drops down at a 60-degree angle, there's your structure. Now, if you have brush piles on that, that's your cover. If you can find the cover on the structure, then you got a gold mine. But that's a lot of things that people don't really look for. So now my lake has quite a bit of structure and an insane amount of cover. We got rock piles and brush piles and humps and lumps and channel swings and cuts and vertical banks and you name it. You can move 30 feet in that lake and it's a whole different structure setup, which is why I don't name that lake. Because if people realized how much the structure and the cover in that lake play off of each other, that lake could be full of boats every day of the week. But yeah, you can get monster pike doing that as well with the swim baits. Slow rolling a swim bait. I love swim baits. Swim baits and jigs are my two favorite things to throw. A nice slow jig, or a nice, depending on the water and the water body, a real slow rolled swim bait, bouncing off the bottom like a crankbait. or just a steady, slow, lazy fish style retrieve. And you're going to hit some big, big, big bass. And if you can get that Huddleston and you can learn how to swim that Huddleston just right, you're going to catch some monsters on it. Every time you throw those Huddlestons, if you throw it in the right spot, throw it on the right structure with the right cover, you're going to catch a big fish. It's just a matter of putting in the time. Those aren't a bait where you're going to go out and catch 30 fish in a day. You're going to get bit 2 or 3 times in a day, but those 2 or 3 times are going to come from some freaking hogs. So anyway, guys, it's I've been going on for about an hour and a half now. I'm going to go ahead and call it. I got to run down to the store, grab some sandpaper for the floor of the boat, and get back to getting that all prepped out so I can lay the flooring in and get it nice and done. So, and we'll see what happens with the motor. Hopefully we can figure out a way to get that motor up and running pretty soon here, but we'll see. I'm not going to be fishing tomorrow. I got to help my neighbor's buddy. I think it's his dad, actually, that's coming up. My fence fell over. It's actually the neighbor's fence. But you can see I got it held up right now with some tie downs and a 2x6 running between a couple of the sections. The wind got so bad out here, it blew that section of the fence over. But when they built the fence, they didn't put concrete at the posts. So, dude lives in Texas that owns the lot. His dad's coming out tomorrow to fix up the fence. So I'm going to help him out with that. So Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, all 3 days, I'm going to be out fishing. So we'll be live all 3 days fishing. We'll be bank fishing the home lake. I was contemplating getting a rental boat, but the rental boats are out of commission at the home lake right now because the dock broke, and it's not safe for them to let people out on the rental boat dock. So the only other place I can go to rent a boat, they're $125 a day, and I'm not going to spend $125 on a rental boat when I can put that $125 into making my boat work. So anyway, guys, I'm out of here. We will be back most likely Tuesday morning on the live. We'll be fishing for cat, bass, and trout on Tuesday. We'll be fishing the same thing Wednesday, Thursday, and possibly Friday. So we're going to try to get 3 to 4 days of fishing in this week. The end of this week is supposed to be in the high 70s. So that in itself should help bring some of the fish out. So we'll see how it goes. But I'm out of here, guys. And we'll see you guys later.